Hello, my name is Tanisha Dorsey, and this is another edition of In the Loop. Since Marvel's 2019 Avengers Endgame movie was released, there has been nothing but excitement and support toward the franchise. Not to mention any spoilers, but the movie takes place 5 years after the Thanos snap that wiped away half of the Avengers in Avengers Infinity War from 2018. The latest movie from Marvel is Spider-Man: Far From Home. The cast of the movie appeared on Jimmy Kimmel recently and did press for the movie. There were concerns after the highly viewed trailer revealed a plot hole in the timeline. Esquire reports their victory occurred 5 years after Thanos initially eradicated half of the population, leaving some fans to wonder why Peter Parker and his classmates are still in high school in Spider-Man: Far From Home. When asked about this very question by host Jimmy Kimmel, the cast of Spider-Man: Far From Home expressed their own confusion, with Jacob Batalon noting it may be one of the biggest plot holes ever. A bunch of fans have taken to social media already to make theories and possibly try to figure out the timeline. Let us know what you think. State of the Shy, and this is Tanisha Dorsey.
Hello, I am Lydia Bravo, and this is the State of the Shy. As of Sunday, May 19, the family of Marlene Ochoa has spoken. The newborn baby who was cut from his murdered mother's womb in Chicago last month has opened his eyes for the first time. Baby Giovanni Jardiel, who is currently still hospitalized and is on life support, was visited last Sunday and held by his father, Giovanni Lopez. As photos are being taken of the pair, the baby opened his eyes. The family of Marlene Ochoa said, "We were just praying and he opened his eyes." And even his dad at that moment said, "Oh my God, he opened his eyes." The 19-year-old mother, Marlene Ochoa's funeral, will take place Saturday morning, May 25th, and a 2-day visitation is expected to take place Thursday and Friday. We are happy to know the baby Giovanni is progressing.
Hello, this is Patrick, and this is your official/unofficial recap of the Game of Thrones on this edition of The Loop. And the final episode of Game of Thrones airs Sunday, May 19th, and here's what we're going to know in the final episode. We have found out that Jon Snow's real name is Aegon Targaryen, and he is the true heir of the Iron Throne. Queen Daenerys is not happy with this revelation, and she has pledged to take the Iron Throne back with fire and blood. As Daenerys became the Mad Queen, as everyone will now question her sanity and ability to lead as King's Landing burned. We are anxious to see how their series will wrap this Sunday after such a fiery episode. I'm Patrick, and this is The Shy Certified.
Today is June 19th, also known as Juneteenth, the holiday marking the end of slavery in the United States. This day in 1865, Union soldiers arrived in Texas with news that the Civil War was over and that the enslaved were free. That is more than 2 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Today, House lawmakers will debate the issue of reparations for descendants of slaves.
First time in 12 years, Congress is having a hearing about reparations. Massive crowds turning out for the debate today. The conversation has been gaining new attention from Democrats ahead of 2020, but Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says even researching what could be done, he says it's not a good idea.
We've, tried to deal with our original sin of slavery by fighting a civil war, by passing landmark civil rights legislation. We've elected an African-American president. I think we're always a work in progress in this country, but no one currently alive was responsible for that.
Tone of the room serious, but quite contentious.
And the real dilemma posed by reparations is just that, a dilemma of inheritance. It is impossible to imagine America without the inheritance of slavery. As historian Ed Baptist has written, enslavement, quote, shaped every crucial aspect of the economy and politics of America, so that by 1836, more than 600 million, or almost half of the economic activity in the United States derived directly or indirectly from the cotton produced by the million-odd slaves.
Congressman Steve Cohen states in an article to CNN, This racial disparity is the product of centuries of policies that intentionally excluded and oppressed African Americans. Now, we must be just as intentional in our effort to repair the damage and ensure that every American has full access to the opportunity that makes our nation great. This is why he will be chairing a hearing on H.R. 40. H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act, was named for the federal government's unfulfilled promise to provide freed African Americans with 40 acres and a mule, which was first introduced by Representative John Conyers in 1989. Today, many of the Democratic presidential hopefuls are debating the possibility of reparations on the campaign trail and giving their versions of what that should look like. Many past candidates have opposed direct payouts to descendants of slaves, instead proposing a solution that will fix the system by funding education, delivering proper housing, and creating opportunities for Black communities to decrease that racial disparity. What do you think reparations should look like, and how will it impact your 2020 vote? Something to think about. I am Tanisha Dorsey, and that's all for now on Politics Decoded.